In this video we will rig a very simple character to be used with NevronMotion, and we will show some important concepts about how to use the NevronMotion Genoma rig and how to use weight maps as well. Let's select layer 2 and let's put layer 1 as foreground layer. Now we can open the Genoma presets window. Of course, we're going to select bipeds and then Nevron Genoma rig. Okay, now we have our rig ready to be adapted to our character. Of course, now we have to edit our rig so it matches the character. So first thing to do is to start with the correct sides. We are almost there. I mean, it looks like it's working. The side is working. So let's go on the side view, on the right view, and let's move the whole skeleton this way. Now we can proceed selecting a part of the leg and adapting it. Same for the foot, and okay, like this. Of course, we have to do the same for the spine. So let's select this, and we can maybe rotate and move this a little up. And from the front view, let's go on editing the leg first. It's better, of course, to have symmetry on while we are working on it. So and let's move the whole arm like this, and then the shoulders, and let's move the hand in the right position. From the top view, let's take a look on the elbow. Probably we can rotate the elbow. Basically, we can use any modeler tool to edit our skeleton. Something very important that we have to notice regarding the arms and the legs. It's very important to give a preferred angle to the arms and legs. That's because you can use IK in NevronMotion to retarget the motion capture to your character. So IK needs a preferred angle, and you define that by bending the arms and the legs. Okay, let's adjust the hands. Even if it will be no important for this tutorial, I just want to make them fit a little better. I mean, the character has no fingers, so just a thumb. But okay, we can leave it like that probably. Just let's move it. What is important is the joints position. Okay, the shoulder. So let's select this. Let's adjust the chest here. Those bones, let's go in color wireframe so we can see the colors of these bones. These blue bones are anchor bones, so we can use them to keep the shape of the chest in this case, and of the head in this other case. So okay, we'll leave it like that. We can even, you know, work on it after the rig has been created and tweak the positions and so on. We will see how it works. Now let's work on the head position. Okay, this is the neck, so let's adjust the neck. And of course we can probably scale the whole thing here. Okay, and why not rotate it a little bit, and then we can take those anchor bonds again. Let's go and call a wireframe here as well. We can edit the position. Okay, same for those bonds. Oh, we see we moved this, which is not a big problem, but now it's out of symmetry. So what we're going to do is to undo those operations I just done, and simply, instead of scaling it, just move all those points here. That's less of them. Okay, up. Okay. So it's really fast to adapt the bonds. Okay, this is Joe, but this character obviously has no Joe at all. Okay, and then those bonds here. Okay. So it's starting to take shape. Same anchor bonds again. There's another bond here, and we're almost there probably. And yeah, we can verify another thing that is very important is, not in this case because again we're not using it, but it's the function of these green arrows. The green arrows show the direction the finger will bend. So it's pretty important. Again, not in this case because we're not going to use fingers at all. Okay, so what I can do now first is to check the position of the feet. And you know, from the top view we're noticing that there is something not so good. So what we're going to do is to move the tip. I want to work on the foot only. So yeah, we have to just adapt the position better. In perspective view we can see if the position matches the ankle here, and you know, the tips of the feet and so on. So let's save this and let's copy the rig. Oops, of course I have to deselect everything. Let's copy the whole rig in layer 1 and save the object. Okay, now we're ready to send the object to layout. Okay, so now we have our object here in layout, and what we have to do is first, since we are using a genoma rig here, we have to go in bounding box view, so the operation of creating the rig will be faster. So setup and genoma create rig. Okay, So now we have our rig created, and we can go back to shaded solid. Let's make the surface of this object smooth. Okay. So now we can already test our deformations. So everything works quite well because our character is very simple. Let's see here, and the head. You can already see something. Let's go in texture shaded solid wireframe. You can see that when I rotate the head, polygon on the chest are moving as well, which is not a good thing. We need to solve that. The arms are working quite fine. And same for the legs. So let's try to solve the problem of the head. So we don't want the bones of the head to influence the vertex on the body. We can solve this problem using weight maps. A weight map is very similar to a selection set, with the big difference. You can assign different values to each vertex of a weight map in a weight map. This way you can assign those vertexes to a bone, to a specified bone, and only to that bone, or of course to more than one bone. So what we need to do is to isolate the vertexes of the head and have the head bone control them. Let's see how to create a weight map. First, let's go in weight shade mode here, and let's create a weight. You can create a weight in several ways. And normally I'm going to hide the skeletons. Okay, and I'm going to select the vertices in the head. So you have several ways to create a weight map. One is this one, with W selected, which stands for weights. We select new, and we give a name to the weight map. In this case, head. Let's create the weight. As you can see now, the vertices that were selected now have changed their color to red. This means that the value of this weight map called W_head for those vertices is 100%, while in the rest of the body is 0%. Okay, that's not all, because now we need to tell LightWave that weights should be assigned to some bones, in this case to those bones. So how to do that? Under setup, you can select set skeleton weight, and as you can see here, there will be a list. Now we have just one weight map, so of course is the one that is selected, but we can select the weight we want to assign to the bones. So let's click OK, and now I'm going to save the object and go in layout again and update the rig. Of course, let's go in bounding box and let's do a update rig here. So now the rig has been recreated, but this time if we check the bone panel, you can open the bone panel just selecting a bond and pressing P on the keyboard, and we can see that we have a weight map assigned, and it's of course the one we have assigned in Modeler, and this is for all the bonds we have selected in Modeler. So now we can be sure that rotating these bonds is going to rotate the vertexes belonging to the weight, or better, the vertexes that have a 100% value for this weight. Now the chest is not moving at all. But we have another problem with this rig. If we rotate the legs, we will see that they're going to change volume. That's because the bonds of the legs are really near. I mean, the bonds in the right leg are really near to the bonds in the left leg, so they are influencing each other. So once they get far, we have this problem of the volume changing. Bonds are like magnets, so that's a logical behavior. So we need to isolate the leg, the right leg, from the left leg. Let's see how to do that. Let's go back in Modeler and let's hide the skeletons again. Okay, so now what we have to do is to select with the lasso one leg. Of course I have the symmetry on now, so let's do this. Okay, so we have this situation. This is the left leg, so let's create a weight for it. New left leg. As you can see now, the color has changed, and let's do the same for the right leg. Right leg, create. Right leg, create. Okay, so now we have 3 weights that can be used. Let's assign them to the skeletons. So let's do that. Set skeleton weight. This is the left leg, and same for the other one. This is the right leg. So let's save it again, and let's go back to layout and update the rig. Oh, I left the view on shaded solid, so it will take a little more, but not so much because the mesh is really simple. And let's see now. Let's check the values, the weight values of this bone. We have left leg, left leg, left leg, right leg. So that's what we wanted. And now I'm going to move the camera. Okay. Let's see the difference. As you can see now, the volume, the general volume of the leg is kept, which is really good. This is a very simple model, so it's very easy to get good deformations. Something very important to do, especially when working with more complex models, it's to use weight blur. Let's see what it does. So weight blur, we have the left leg weight selected, And of course all those points have a value of 100%. But sometimes you really want the deformation to be smoother. So what we can do is under map to select weight blur. You can choose the number of iterations. Let's go for 2. And now you see the weight values have been blurred along other vertices. Let's do the same for the right leg. Okay, let's save and back to layout. Let's check the deformation. And of course now the transition is even smoother, which is really a good thing to get good deformations. As you can see, we didn't create weights for the arms or ways to isolate the body, because in this specific case that's not needed. As you can see, moving the arms is not doing a big damage to the chest polygons. It's working quite well. So let's try to test our character with a real motion capture file. So what I'm going to do is to import BVH file. I have a collection of BVH here. Let's load this one. It's the bigger, okay, biggest one. Okay, and it's here. So that's what we have. It's a character walking around, walking backwards. Okay, it's a good test for sure. Now we have to match the motion capture file to our character. Let's do that of course at frame 0, and this is the master of the motion capture skeleton. So I'm going to move it so the hips is matched, and I'm going to scale it a little bit, something like that. It's very important that the legs have about the same length. So next, what I'm going to do is to select the left up leg IK plane, control in the genoma rig, and match the legs. Okay, so we're ready to verify our character, and if our character is working with a motion capture file. Before proceeding, I'm going to create very quickly a camera animation. So let's see how long. Okay, it's about 500 frames. Well, we can be precise. Yes. Okay, 480 frames. So at frame 1, let's position the camera so we can see the rig. Okay, we can follow the rig again and maybe go a little far. It's coming on this other way, so let's do that. So we can follow the animation. Whoops, and it's going back again. Okay, just not to lose it. So now when we hit play, we get this. We can verify the animation. So let's retarget the motion capture to our character using NevronMotion. So I'm going to add NevronMotion here. Wow, it's big. My other monitor is bigger, of course. And okay, this is a BVH file, and so all we have to do now is to hit retarget and see the result from the camera. So our character is following the motion capture in a very good way. Maybe we can turn on the add light and turn off the OpenGL light. Okay, as you can see, it's working quite fine, but the arms angle is different. Let's solve this. Let's target and let's edit the arm's rotation. Okay. It should be better already. Maybe even the shoulders should start like this. We can test it immediately. So let's retarget again. And from the camera, now we can see that the arms of our character is moving in a very similar way to the motion capture file. Of course, the sides of the arms is different, but that works. Let's fix this problem with the ad going off the frame. Okay, very quickly. Of course I should do that for all the frames. Okay. Now let's try to use IK for the legs. Let's on target. As you can see, we have 4 orange controls, and those are the pole vectors. The position of the pole vectors is relative to the bend angle we gave in Modeler, which again, I have to say that is very important. It must be there. You can't have a perfectly straight arm or leg. You need to bend them in Modeler. So let's see how IK retargeting works. Going to activate IK. So now the retargeting will be done using a different algorithm using IK. So let's try retarget and let's see if it behaves correctly. Yeah, as you can see, now the legs are following even more closely the motion capture. We can push this further. Let's on target. We can push it further, simply activating match goal. So using match goal, we will see the ankle of our character going to match the ankle of the skeleton, something that was not happening before. So retarget, you see already at frame 0 what happened, and let's hit play. Now our character's feet are matching perfectly the motion capture feet. The legs are bent, probably too much, and we can solve this easily. Let's open the NevronMotion retarget panel again, and let's untarget. What I'm going to do, well, this is something we can solve even with targeting on, really. So let's do that. Let's retarget, and at frame 1 we will operate some changes on the animation using this box control here, the hips magenta control. So what we can do is to move it up. So as you can see now, we have straightened the legs.